Good afternoon. Good morning to some. Good evening to others. How y'all boy doing? It's just your host, Mark Man. Probably end up changing my name real quick. I don't like how that sounds. Even though it worked, still a little something to that. You know what I mean? Appreciate everybody for tuning in or will tune in, however that might go. But I'm here to tell you about unconditional love. Not really. I already covered that. But part of it is true. Part of it is true. Definitely want to talk about, like I said, definitely want to cover the topic of dating in 2019. It's fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome. But once again, shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Probably should have promoted it. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but it's all coming together though. Just how it goes down. But anyway, dating in 2019 is fucking awesome. Says nobody though. And that's kind of part of where this whole discussion is going to end up going and where it ends up leading. It's a simple fact that you look at it from so many different landscapes, and shout out to all the brothers out there that have covered this topic to a different extent, you know what I mean? But just coming from it from this particular angle. And I'm saying that is awesome, honestly, because you would look at it, all cards on the table. I mean, there ain't really too much to hide. For motherfucking gay, they gay. If a person, you know what I mean, wants to have multiple partners and be in an open relationship, that's fine. If somebody wants to, you know what I mean, get married, obviously, and have the traditional way of doing things, it's still that lane. You know what I mean? So, there's so many different variables and avenues towards dating in 2019 and beyond, to the point to where it's like, yo, this shit is actually pretty interesting. Because like I said, you can pick your lane. You should have no problem being open and honest about, you know what I mean, your intentions. And you should be able to, because it's so wide open, to find as many people as possible that you would want to, you know what I mean? There's so many different even ways to meet people nowadays. It's not just the old school out in the field, out in the streets, you know what I mean, at a bar, at a club, at your church, at, you know what I mean, the gym, etc., etc. It ain't just that no more. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, my apologies for the technical difficulties. We working through it. Now, some of it also comes and stems from, and I should have put that shit in the title, some of the things and comments that came from your girl, you know what I mean, Fantasia. And a lot of people have done videos on it. They've also done videos on the certain studies that have shown that obviously black women over the age of 35 have a more difficult time getting married, which seems kind of like you had to have a study on that shit. I mean, any woman over the age of 35 would have a hard time finding a partner or finding a mate. Still easier than it was back in the day, though. Let me, definitely put that out there. But at the same time, it's still much harder. You know what I'm saying? And as you can see, God dang, you know what I mean? Got the 49ers up there rocking hard. We 3-0. Just wanted to mention that real quick. But back to the subject matter at hand. Dating in 2019, people complaining, people saying that it's hard. And once again, people, I definitely apologize for it being choppy. Hopefully, everything tightens up in just a second. But yes, there's even a lane for women to still be able to submit to their man and, you know what I'm saying, find a good one. Hell, I mean, there's the whole blended family situation, that lane that has extended itself. So now, obviously, you know what I'm saying, you don't really have to feel like you need to live a perfect life in order to find a partner. But yet, and still, you do find people that will complain and will find ways to say that, you know what I mean, things aren't as good as they could be. And I understand that things aren't as good as they could be, but the truth of the matter really is the problems that kind of arise in this new dating arena that we find ourselves in is that nobody, even though people can be honest, people still don't be honest. And I mean that goes all across the board, you know what I mean, men and women. Obviously, women in some cases have a tougher time living the single life even though they want to be single because after a while of being conditioned and living a single life, man, there ain't no way you can tell me that, oh well, the grass is greener back on the other side, and all that good stuff. Ooh, excuse me. But see, that's just kind of part of it though. You definitely don't want to have it be too bad or too far off base, you know what I mean? But thank you guys for checking in. Just having a few different thoughts, different ideas. Obviously, the reason why I say that people are dishonest, because like I said, they really want to be single because of the habits that they form. You know what I mean? Used to being in control of a certain situation, and obviously, the people that they want may not want them back. And that's the sad part of dating, unfortunately. We all want something that we either can't have or we all want something that we know that is bad for us. And the stuff that is good for us, yeah, what I mean, to a certain degree, it's not exactly what you want. Or you know that it's always there, so what I mean, it's not really a challenge, especially for women. And follow me on this one, you know what I mean? It's almost the example I think has been used before about like taming a wild stallion or taming a Mustang or something like that. I mean, obviously, you got the horses that are already prepped and ready, conditioned, trained is the key word to be ridden, to be, what I mean, to be a show horse, to be this, to be that. And yeah, you can take that horse home, you know what I mean? You can have a good time with that horse. You still have a horse. And that is equating that to saying, like, you can have a man, you can have a husband, you can have that relationship. It's right there for you. But the dream and the goal is always to go out there and tame the untamable. To be like, especially on the female side of things, to be like, my pretty face, my personality, and my pussy is so great that I'm able to take this wild stallion and bring him into the stable and be able to ride him for the rest of my days. And that does happen. It can happen, and in a lot of ways, it should happen that way. Unfortunately, though, women don't get that hand and really they choose, but they don't have a hand in choosing in that standpoint. You know what I mean? And control and power is pretty big and pretty key when you look at this whole little situation right now, because we all can control pretty much all our situations in life. We can dictate what we watch on television. You know what I mean? Some people are lucky enough to where they can work from home, so they can make their own schedule, or possibly also own their own business, do their own thing. You know what I'm saying? So you can heat up food anytime you want. If not, there's some fast food or restaurants that are pretty much on every corner, different varieties. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been inundated with a whole bunch of options. Life is about options. You know what I mean? Well, what's the phrase, or what's how the boys say that? Like life is an oyster or some shit. I don't really get that one, but maybe life is like a box of chocolates. How about that one? That's what everybody fucking familiar with. You know what I mean? Life is like a box of chocolate, and it is hard. And I've covered this before, and I've talked about, you know what I'm saying, that ain't perfect time to get married. That the dream and the goal too is still to be like, all right, I'm gonna have my fun for as many years as I can have my fun, and when I'm done, then I should be able to find somebody that's ready, and I'm ready. Let's just get it done. You know what I'm saying? And the problem also that lies in dating in 2019 and beyond is the fact that labels really don't mean anything much anymore either. Because let's be honest. I mean, you can call somebody your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the truth of the matter really is that there's really nothing being built. It's really just about the label, if you get that part. And that's how we are in society anyway, you know what I mean? If you still wearing Tommy, if you got polo on, or you got some other, you know what I'm saying, hard to pronounce shit, some Gucci shit maybe or something, you know what I mean? Some Prada shit, some high end type stuff. People recognize the name and they pretty much give you respect off top. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with, in my opinion, how some females view relationships and marriage. Like it's just something to do or something to add. It's just a status type of symbol. It's like having the newest purse, or, you know what I'm saying, having the newest shoes, or whatever the case might be, or taking a vacation to the hottest spot, or, you know what I mean, the most exotic spot. Like marriage and shit ain't really like the goal of like being with somebody that you really care about. Marriage is just like something to do because society places that pressure, and obviously by biology places that pressure on women as well to kind of like make that shit happen. You know what I mean? So now you get a whole bunch of women in their 30s and 40s and got their career, got their education, got everything going, and now they're having a hard time believing that the dating market, there's plenty of dudes available. It just ain't the dudes that they want. Just like with men, you know what I'm saying? For some reason, we want a whore that we can change into a housewife. Only problem with that is, just like the boy, and it's always usually meant for men, but goes all around the board. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Once a whore, always a whore. Always a dub. You know what I mean? Like, you can't knock that shit out of them. I mean, honestly, if a woman has been fucked silly, and when I say that, I mean like plenty of dudes, more dudes than they would, honestly want to admit. And that type of woman still believes that she is wife material, which she could be for some dude. But the type of dude that she wants compared to the type of dude that she's going to get is way different. Same thing with dudes. The type of woman that you want with a certain, shape, certain assets, you know what I mean, look a certain way. At a certain age, man, like that chick, she's done, man. And yeah, you might get one of these stories here and there where, she's been married at a young age, and you just happen to find a gold mine because either her husband died, or he left or cheated, or just because always the dude's fault. You do know that. And that's another thing about dating in 2019. I'm gonna try to round the bases with this shit. Hold on, give me a second. No, we got some of these kinks worked out, starting to flow a little bit smoother. But but yeah. But once again, thank everybody for tuning in, or that will tune in, all that good stuff. We're just having a little convo, trying to make it too long. But talking about these thirsty ass dudes, man. Like honestly, you could have a good woman at home, but just like the women, that's not the woman you really want. You have to be honest with yourself. It's not the woman you really want. Or she was, and then something changed, which more than likely was responsibilities, kids, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. That'll fuck up a good time all the time. You know what I'm saying? Which is my whole point about like once you done tasted the waters of being single, once you done tasted the waters of doing your own thing and making your own lane in this world, however way you do it, because I'm about to cover another subject about how women definitely have a leg up on that part. But you work your way through this world, and you are where you are right now, as you under the sound of my voice. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing more to be said to you about what you should possibly do, because I don't know how many people are open to constructive criticism in general, number one, but number two, especially in the confines of a relationship. Because a man telling a woman what to do in 2019 and beyond, that's a fight that Fantasia, the point that I was trying to make earlier, was alluding to. And most men, they like that battle for a while, but after a while, they get worn down. And that's why they end up having side pieces. Why? Because the side piece is agreeable. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's not breaking bread with the bride. He don't. Well, you think he might not have kids with the bride. He might be. The side piece might still be the old baby mama or some shit. You know how our shit goes. You know what I mean? Now the shit is so fucked up that it's not just like, all right, you single, which means you ain't got no kids. Or you married, oh, that definitely means you probably got kids. Now you could be single and have plenty of kids. You could be single and have been married 2 or 3 times. You could be married now and still be single, just doing your fucking thing. It's a ridiculous kind of harsh posh of different situations. You know what I mean? I remember talking to this one young lady, personal story time. And when I met her, it was all cool, you know what I mean? It was on some internet shit, just kind of messaging back and forth. Finally got the number and called her and shit. And was talking to her on the phone. And the bro was like, yeah, I live with this dude. He's not my boyfriend. We're not no kind of relationship, but we live together. Cool, first conversation. Second conversation, which is like a few days later, maybe a week later or whatever. Now I get more detail about it. And, well, actually, I wouldn't even say that. I didn't invite her over to the crib and we having a face-to-face. This is why the shit came out a little bit better. So I'm talking to her, and she confesses that not only is she living with this dude, but she's also now pregnant by this dude. But that's not her boyfriend. It's not her husband. But she's living with some dude that fucks her raw. And she's trying to tell me that she's single and everything is A-okay. You know what I'm saying? So, after I fucks the broad or whatever, the next time I talk to her, it's like, I mean, come on. I was younger. Don't judge me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I knew not to take her seriously after that kind of shit, even though I'm pretty sure she wanted me to take her seriously, which is why she even confessed that shit to me. So my thing is, even with personal examples aside, I know that people come from different situations and situationships and just things that kind of happen. You know what I mean? Even the young lady I know now, you know what I'm saying? That was part of the situation. But that's just a story she told me. And that's always part of it. It's just a story. You just get one side of the story. Even though if dating was a little bit more serious and motherfuckers took it more serious, you would need those references. You would actually be talking to their ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. You would actually have sit-down conversations with their friends and family, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, really do your research. And I remember back in the G, not too long ago, but back in the G, personally, I would go on Backpage and Craigslist and shit just to make sure the broad ain't, you know what I mean, trying to sell ass on the side and do that shit. But now, it's wide open and on Instagram and Snapchat and shit. Like, bitches will sell themselves freely. Actually, even Facebook now, like freely. All kinds of shit goes down now. You know what I mean? That's why this song came out. It goes down in the DM. You know what I mean? Because it goes down. There's plenty of men that brag about, you know what I mean, fucking with bras that they've been on Instagram or Twitter or some dumb shit. And I'm just like, yo. And actually, even now that I think about it, I think Facebook just created like a whole little dating app type of shit. I really don't be on there too much. I need to be promoting this shit and doing whatever. But I just come on here just to, free some thoughts. Not really in it for no kind of like notoriety, fame. Nothing. What I say resonates. I hope that it does. You know what I mean? It helps some other brothers out because I am coming from it from more of a red pill standpoint. You know what I mean? And that seems to be the popular thing to say or just a way to describe it nowadays. You know what I mean? Because it is a mindset. It is a certain way of looking at this whole dating landscape and being not just a pawn in the game, hoping to become a king if you make it to the other side unscathed, which is pretty much how the shit is set up now, or depending on your financial situation or just your physical attributes, God given stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can be a rook or a bishop or a knight or whatever, you know what I mean? But let's be honest, unless you're super wealthy, ain't nobody starting off the game being no fucking king or queen. Let's be honest, you know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest. I know that we like to call ourselves kings and queens sometimes, you know what I mean? But let's be fucking honest. We ain't king or nothing. We ain't queen or nothing. You can't even say your own life because certain things you be letting shit slide that ain't royal. Shit ain't dignified. You know what I mean? The shit ain't regal. Fuck you talking about? You know what I mean? Motherfuckers out here talking about they kings and queens, but can't even fucking. Never mind, man. Anyway, that's another damn part of the game. You feel me? It's just this inflated sense of self that everybody has. Everybody thinks they're the shit. Everybody, and I mean, not saying that people should walk around with low self-esteem and be all like, this, that, and the third. But man, there ain't enough like realism in the world, man. And that's why dating is so hard because everybody in their own fucking world, man. And then when you do get somebody that is compatible and sees the world the same way you do, man, all into the gossip and shit. Damn, this motherfucking shit always reconnecting. Trying to get my shit popping, and then this is what I bring to the table. No wonder I don't got no views. But honestly, though, getting back to the whole sense of like why nobody says that dating is awesome, or why nobody feels like they can just like find that shit. Never ever me. Sorry, my bad. But the reason why shit don't seem to be getting no better is partly what I was kind of referencing earlier, and I'm spitballing here, no script, no nothing. I'm actually freestyling. That's why it's live. But you could probably tell. Anyway, the whole Instagram model, you know what I mean, situation, as I alluded to earlier, the whole prostitution is pretty much free and wide open, and it's just like it's just really hard to believe. Man, I have no idea what that was, but anyway, fucking Max Burger. Like the hell? See, that's what you get. Never mind that. Back on the mission. Back on the mission. Back to these. You know what I mean? The whole prostitution being free. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it has boiled down to this point to where now women that are attractive know that they are attractive, get so many messages that because you niggas so thirsty. You know what I mean? I don't ever understand the point of really like conversing with broads that, especially if you don't travel, conversing with broads you ain't gonna never see. You know, promising them the world, like calling them and FaceTime with. And I mean, I don't get the energy and effort that some of you motherfuckers be putting in behind that shit when you probably got a gal at home. You know what I mean? Like you gotta damn keep the shit playing. Like you gotta be at least pretty transparent parent what the fuck you doing. Can't blatantly be with a bitch and trying to holler at another bitch. Like that's flawed. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't saying not to do you, little daddy, but goddamn. It's just fucking up the game with the damn thirsty shit because thirsty niggas created all of this fucking like Snapchat premium holes and you know what I mean, OnlyFans and yeah, I know about all that because I be seeing the shit. Matter of fact, quick little personal story again, you know what I mean? And I meant to make a whole separate video about this shit. But a couple years back, especially like on Twitter and shit like that, I started following like a whole bunch of like whores, like really like down, you know, doing they fucking thing, damn prostitutes, you know what I'm saying? And this bitch used to post like her sucking dick and doing whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it was free porn at the time. I was just like, all right, cool. But then it got a little bit different because I started actually like wondering the fuck is behind this shit. I know it's the attention, I know it's the money, but what the fuck is really behind this shit? And it got me thinking to try to pool that shit together a little bit. Now, obviously, yes, most of these bras have nice assets that look good. I can see why they're actually tricking themselves off like that, prostituting themselves off. But what I don't understand is the other level of the game, and that's just like there used to be a certain standard for whores. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna sell your shit, at least look presentable and be like something that somebody would want to actually spend some money on. But I was sadly mistaken. You know what I'm saying? And that shit opened my mind up to the whole little idea that like, yo, looks obviously can be deceiving. Never judge a book by its cover. But man, damn near all these bros, man, damn near all, not all, but a good deal, a great deal of bros is out here doing that shit. It is funny, but it's sad. And that part of the game, it's not really dating, but it's taking pretty much the top prospects out of it because they skipping college, you know what I'm saying? They going straight to the pros from high school, you know what I mean? And it's not giving pros from high school, you know, giving obviously some of y'all, you know what I mean, younger real niggas a chance. And I've been there, you know what I mean? At least during my time, at least, you know what I mean? Which was right on the cusp of this change. My time was still old school bros that, you still had to call them and shit. Bitches barely had cell phones, you know what I'm saying? Started getting them a lot more heavily the older I got, obviously, but it wasn't this like instantaneous shit. Like, you know what I mean? It actually still had to kind of work for it a little bit. Know that, they weren't actually bet. They saw the totem pole. They knew where they rested in the SMV, as y'all boys speak of. They knew their sexual marketplace value. But now with the internet and all these dating sites and different things and motherfuckers from around the world, man, it's like now every bro thinks she a dime, man, and that's fine. Have confidence, do what you do. You have your fan hating, but it's almost for many women are pretty high as far as what they're aiming for, and they should aim for it. But obviously, real dudes, realness, someone that actually want to impose some discipline and actually want to lead a bride and build with a bride. Like date with a purpose and all that type of shit. Like, oh, that's out the window, damn it. Now, if you that kind of dude, now you gotta wait for the bitch to be done fucking around and doing her thing. Really? Like, do you want that? You know what I mean? You want to jump through many hoops just to prove that you're worthy enough to a bride that probably, let's be honest, might not even be on your level. And if she is above your level, then number one, you probably shouldn't be trying to. But niggas reach for the stars too. You know what I mean? It's okay. You know what I mean? And so these brides like it. You know what I mean? And I heard all of the discussion and talk, and I agree with most of the people that were out there spitting their knowledge, spitting their truth. And I hate that particular phrase, but it's cool, it's catchy, whatever. And that's the simple fact that you can believe what the fuck you want to believe, and nobody should be able to tell you otherwise. I'm the nigga that'll be like, nah, there's an otherwise. Obviously, you don't gotta listen to me. I mean, that's what advice and stuff is. It's just like it's free to give, and you can take it or leave it. Definitely don't want to come across like, oh, I'm a motherfucker that's out here trying to tell you how to try to be about it and try to tell you how to live and all that. Nah. I'm just looking at it from the landscape of look. If you tricking yourself off, if you putting and presenting yourself in a manner that everybody around the world wants to fuck you, that's fine. And maybe some niggas is cool with that, but I can't see how somebody would really honestly want to wipe some broad like that up. Just being honest. It could happen because obviously if she bad enough, you know what I mean, motherfuckers will do whatever, and that's where it lies in the end. There's women having surgeries and using different filters, you know what I mean, and they're doing all kinds of stuff in order to look the part. Men, we do what we have to do to look the part too. Lean up against a homeboy ride, rock your homeboy chain, maybe. I'm talking about the extreme and the extreme low, obviously. You know what I mean? Not just the actual legit dudes that's, they got their own, they doing their thing, and, they decide to pose and floss with it a little bit. That's fine. Not a problem. Not at all. And obviously, you know what I mean? A lot of things that's missing in the game, too, is it's just the value of certain things in general. And I think I may have tried to touch on it earlier when I said that these titles don't really mean the same as they used to mean. You know what I mean? If you call somebody your boyfriend or girlfriend, that shit used to mean something. You call somebody your husband or wife, that used to mean something. You know what I mean? Like just the title alone should keep you in check. And society would help do that for you. Like, nah, you shouldn't be doing this. No, you shouldn't be moving like that. I'm gonna tell your husband. I'm gonna tell you. You know what I mean? But now, not so much. Not so much. Yeah, but Mm-mm-mm-mm. I'm gonna lie, I've been talking for about 30, 40 minutes. Maybe not about too much nothing, but anyway, this is just one of those like free runs about the shit. I might close the shit out soon. My whole point of doing this real quick was the dating atmosphere that we find ourselves in now encompasses so much more than it ever has before, and is steadily adding to it. Because there's motherfuckers that are freaks, and obviously part of dating is to satisfy some kind of sexual need, which is funny when that happens too. As far as like women needing. Now that's another thing too about titles. Sometimes women and men, in some cases, do need that title in order to take that next step to legitimize, so to speak, having sex with them. They just can't have sex with them unless they're technically their boyfriend. And then even with that title, it's really the same fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like, it really doesn't really matter, but it helps people sleep well at night. Titles do, at least. But titles also can scare people off, both men and women. Some men could really be digging a chick and be like, "Yo, I kind of want you to be my gal," and she got, "Nah, really, I'm a free spirit. I don't really want to, I want to keep everything cool. What's groovy is it? Like you have to know, like it, it's not really worth it, man. Or is it really worth it? That's a question you must, answer in and of yourself. I need to do a, why did she give you the pussy part too? Because there's some things with that subject matter I need to dive into. And there's another video I wanted to do like a reaction on, and the up to date kind of version on. I'm gonna work on that as well. But for the few people, honestly, that have been checking out my shit, appreciate it. Definitely want y'all boy to like it, share it. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. But it's crazy, man. But it's fucking awesome. Because it's only awesome to really, the ones at the top. Certain women are loving this freedom, this power that they're given, from this dating landscape. And select dudes have always been select dudes. You know what I mean? That shit ain't gonna change. Shit is not gonna change. So if you out here doing what you do and you succeeding in it, you definitely won't catch you doing no videos talking about this shit. This shit sucks. So that's why I was like, dating is actually awesome. You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong about it? There's plenty of options. You know what I mean? If you're a traveling guy, you know what I mean? You can set up some things even before you get there. You know what I mean? Have a tour guide, perhaps, or for a female, for the longest. I know how to work the system. You find a dude in the city that you're about to go to. You head there for a weekend. You got a tour guide. You got some dude willing to show you around, maybe even buy you some meals. You don't even got to spend too much money. It's a perfect setup. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, people crave experiences. People want different things. And it is kind of part of the landscape of what dating is nowadays. Like, nothing is forever. You know what I mean? The longest relationships are probably, friends with benefits. As soon as you call yourself boyfriend and girlfriend, you're pretty much putting a timer on the relationship right then and there. There's a timer as soon as you meet a person anyway. Some people are, here for a reason. Some people are for seasons, Some people are for seconds and some people are for lessons, But it's still the time that they occupy and the time that you give and what you do learn from it. And that should be another key component to dating in 2019, which is why I brought up that whole little thing about, following whores and strippers and stuff like that. Yeah, part of it was, yeah, they got naked pictures. We don't want to see titties and shit sometimes, but honestly, after a while, it became more than just that, and it really kind of got like oversaturated. You know what I mean? Because there was a certain point in time when porn was like damn near special. You know what I mean? Like motherfuckers kept it to a certain degree and quality, and only whipped it out at certain times. But as soon as you can watch porn on your cell phone, man, or your laptop or computer, well, especially cell phone, but once it transferred to online, yeah, that shit changed the game. You know what I'm saying? Now motherfuckers is freaked out. And that's part of the dating in 2019 too that I didn't even touch on. It might be my last point. Is that sexual compatibility is one of those things. Because when the broad says she a freak, man, you gotta believe her, dog. She probably done does some nasty shit that you probably ain't done, or if you did do, you'd be like, man, if I do that, I can't like be with that bitch. You know what I mean? Which back in the day, it used to be like that. That's the whole point of getting married, so that you could do your freak stuff with your bride, with your wife, with your husband. You know what I'm saying? But if you doing that freak stuff with a dude you don't even fuck with no more, like it almost seems like just hitting it from the back is just like, because you already on that damn 14th level. You know what I mean? And of course, if anybody introduces their freak too soon, that's part of either a bonding or that repels a person. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you into that? Nah. I gotta go that way. You know what I mean? And that's part of the game that no one actually ever talks about. You know what I mean? Sexual compatibility. Some motherfuckers that, you know what I mean, just like the normal shit and want to kind of, build from there. And I mean, it always builds from the normal stuff. But sometimes the first time you freak a bride, you know what I mean, it might be on some more extra level shit. You know what I mean? Who knows? People, like I said, people are into different things, and that complicates the whole situation. Either they're married and the spouse ain't into the same things that they find themselves getting into because of porn, and then they end up, cheating or have a side piece for that particular, situation, or you grow up in that. Because I can't imagine how it is for young dudes now. Like the chick in high school, yeah, back in the day, no matter what time it was, I mean, it was usually always at least one or two chicks that had a train ran or okay, fine. You know what I'm saying? You can identify those whores and hopefully they move to another town and get married and live a good life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's usually what ends up happening. But not only are trains being ran, orgies are being had, motherfuckers are bisexual. There's video of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's it's different, man. It's just a different fucking landscape out here. And I mean, you could be down with the times, and like I said, make it be an awesome thing for you. Are you in your lane and you was hoping for, what I mean, appropriate one to pass by? Maybe you have to slow down. Maybe you have to speed up. But you have to find that person on that road that's in your lane. Because as soon as you switch lanes, if you ain't got the capabilities to keep up, you know what I mean, like that shit could work. And I'm actually talking about myself a little bit on that because I'm an old school dude and I had to kind of learn quick, like, man, these bros ain't innocent, man. These bros ain't tame. These bros ain't, what I mean, low key. None of that shit, man. At least some of them, you know what I mean? Some of them are, or at least present themselves to be because they see that, that's my nature. But, deep down, I know what time it is. And I've done my fair share of shit, you know what I'm saying? I've explored. I'm just saying about my personal, freak story and telling all my damn shit. It's just more or less just to make a point saying that everybody is coming from a different background sexually too. So once you get into the dating atmosphere, you know what I mean? That's just kind of part of what you would have to kind of adjust to or blend in order to make it work. And I think I heard somebody say it before. Maybe it was Donovan Sharp. Shout out to him. I do listen to him every now and again. You know what I mean? I think he made this point, which was pretty much like, yo, if dick number 78 for her was like the biggest, and you're like dick number 130, or dick number 80 something was the best, or you know what I mean, dick number 20 came with other benefits that you can't provide, you know, like that. There's just like we have our personal kind of like Rolodex in our head. Damn, I'm old talking about Rolodex. You know what I mean? Fucking like, excuse me. But anyway, that burping just kind of just threw me off. But my whole point is that because I just went off on a fucking tangent just now. But my whole point, like I said, was that you may run into a woman that has had so many different sexual experiences with threesomes and you know, not even just positions, because I mean those things are whatever, you know what I mean, but just like experiences that may or may not vibe with you, you know what I'm saying? And that's why people take that kind of shit to their grave, you know what I mean? But it shouldn't be, because you're dating and you're trying to bond with somebody for life. But there's so many still, and to this day, taboo topics that people don't really like get into in relationships. And taboo ain't always just sexual, even though that's the last thing I mentioned. But really, some people aren't honest about what happened in their previous relationships. Some people didn't give themselves time to heal from their previous relationships. Some people don't really give a fuck about relationships, and they just play the game and they hoping that you do on both sides of the coin. You know what I'm saying? There's always that kind of shit. And that's why I was saying, if you're a player, be a player. Like, I mean, there ain't no shame in game. Like, you're trying to settle down on that, you're doing your thing, you do your thing, both men and women. Like, I don't see why. That's why I started this discussion like that. I don't see why like it should be hard. It should be awesome, because you should be able to find the exact type of person for you that's looking for the same thing you looking for, that's down for the same shit you down for, all of that shit. Like, that shit shouldn't be that fucking hard to find. But instead, it's still the game part of it. And I mean, that's kind of part of the fun, it's part of the intrigue, but it's part of the bullshit. It's the main part of the bullshit anyway. Actually, it's the shit part of the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like the bull part, yeah, okay, you could substitute that with anything, you know what I mean? But that's the whole shit part about it. That's what so many people complain about. That's why when women complain that there's no good men, and when men complain that there's no good women, they are those things. They just don't come in the form or the shape or the size or the freak or the skin tone or the financial that you are, you know, willing to deal with. Because there's always somebody physically for you, but once you physically attractive, once you find out some other shit, sometimes that makes a person unattractive. You know what I mean? And that makes it difficult as well. But motherfuckers will power through that shit if the person is, you know, sexy enough. And that goes on both sides of the coin. You know what I mean? I know motherfuckers now that with a dumbass bitch that, you know what I mean, is rude as fuck, and you know what I mean, all kinds of crazy shit. Crazy is one of those adjectives I would use to describe her as well. But the motherfucker stay with the motherfucker because the bitch is bad. I used to say I get it, but now I really just don't get it. The older I get, I'm just like, yo, I just don't get it. You know, once you kind of get into the red pill as a man mindset, you know what I mean, certain things become true, and playing for pussy type of damn shit to where you're actually getting paid for real. You're actually making real moves. You're actually, you know what I'm saying, doing something that's legitimate. Not all the time, obviously, but something that at least builds yourself up for the future. You know what I mean? Other levels that you can achieve. But we all played in the amateur league at one point in time where we were just playing for pussy, sharpening our skills. Because, the art of talking to women and doing things like that, it goes beyond just obviously trying to get some pussy. And let me quit saying that word. Trying to get some action. You know what I mean? That confidence that you build from talking to women, especially just out and about, translates to other things, especially like if you're in something like sales or business or something like that, marketing. Oh, this shit is damn. Shit is getting long in the tooth. Think I may have covered everything. I didn't really go in as hard as I guess I wanted to on that prostitution shit because that was really fucking up the game, like I said, but that's just part of it. Unfortunately, most of the attractive women out there know that they're attractive, have good assets, have a nice body, even if it's surgically enhanced or not. Because that's the goal for some of these women. I can't tell you how many women are like, "Oh, I got my surgery coming up not in December. I got my surgery coming up in April. I got to get ready for my surgery next week." Wow, so many women having surgeries, and not like health reasons. They just cosmetic. Like fat bras trying to be thin and trying to be thick, or thick bras trying to get thicker, or thicker in the right places, or whatever the case might be. You know what I mean? It's just who wants to marry somebody like that? Maybe you niggas do, some of y'all niggas, but I don't know. That just don't seem right to me, especially with the whole K Michelle shit too. When she was talking about, because I was looking at her like, yo, you had a fake ass, you got all this attention, you got your money, you took your ass out. Now nobody really paying you no attention, and you complain you can't find no dude, and all men are evil and all kinds of shit. And yeah, I'm paraphrasing, but it's ridiculous the mindset of a person, especially a female, that does so much fake shit and then requires so much real shit. And I guess it's because they lack that realness. And I don't mean that black people real that they talk about or keeping it 100 or all that shit. Like that's just speaking your fucking opinion. That's not keeping it 100. Facts are facts, and if you have knowledge about a certain thing and it lines up with those facts, you can speak on it, and that's 100. That's real. It actually is reality. You know what I'm saying? Something that's like direct. It's a open and end type of shit. You know what I mean? But your opinion is your opinion, and whether or not you care to share it or not, don't make you real or not. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that kind of bothers me with seeing some of this shit out here. Motherfuckers claiming that they're so real, and they just can't find nobody that's as real as them. And there's so much fake motherfuckers and not that and the third. And I'm just like, all right, even beyond the whole physical fakeness, because that's just whatever. You know what I mean? Can't say that, a dude don't like it. I can't say that I can't appreciate a woman that dolls herself up and looks nice. Hopefully she has natural beauty and that's just an extension or a little bit of, but my point being is that you can't have a fake personality. You can't be doing dumb shit like, okay, you lie in front of me to somebody else and laugh about it, and then turn to me and be like, I'm the most honest person that you know. You know what I mean? And obviously on the dude side of the things, you can't lie to bras either. I mean, you gotta be as real as possible with the shit. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I mean? But that bothers me on that level. You know what I'm saying? Because realness is being confused with your opinion, just like I mentioned earlier about your truth. I hate that statement too. Like, what the fuck is your truth? Your truth is, yes, you're right. It's your truth. You can say your reality maybe, or your circumstances or your situation. You can own those type of things, but you can't own facts. You can't own your own truth. Like, truth is truth. I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? Because usually a person's version of their truth, or whatever, my truth, is usually a skewed version of the actual reality of things. You know what I'm saying? So I may have to do another she says, because that she says unconditional love and positive vibe shit was on point. And she also says, what I'm saying, your my truth. That just means opens it up to lies and interpretation. That's fine. Everybody has their own opinion, but please don't sully the good name of fucking truth behind your bullshit. You know what I mean? Fucking sullying the good name of truth, hollering about this is my truth, bitch. Negro, the fuck? You know what I mean? Shit is ridiculous, man. Now, once again, I'm starting to kind of describe some of the negatives that comes with trying to get up, trying to date, trying to build, I guess. Because the fuck you could build with somebody that is already, established. Like, while you were building, I should have been there assisting at least with, passing you some bricks or something. Not saying that a woman can't do her own work and have her own worth and, find value in the stuff that she finds important. But you can't just, and I mean, it works differently for a man, obviously. Like, I can build something and then turn around and then look for someone to share it with. But you can't be like, oh, I'm building something, because no, this shit ain't together. It's like, yo, I mean, you bring yours, I have mine, and maybe she has more than I do or whatever, but I still have mine, and she still would have hers, and that would be the understanding. But that whole building with word or term or phrase or whatever, like that shit is, and that's the thing. Like, dating in 2019 has now been summed up in memes and fucking catchphrases and lines from rap songs and R&B songs and shit. And it's forever been like that. Seems like it just seems like it's like way more like out there right now, and that shit kind of sad, bro. It's sad, bro. Like, no man typically can find success in dating by having his own principles and his own like way about going about things with dating, because he has to, dealing with the modern woman, keep up with the lifestyle and the appearance of what a relationship should be for everybody else and online with everybody else. And now you find yourself in an endless loop of taking pictures, that you, it's fine, all right, whatever. Maybe I'm, being a little too hard on that part. All right, taking pictures, fine. Or, taking certain vacations when you probably could do better taking another vacation. That might be a little bit cheaper and you could have money to do some other things. But nah, you break your bank, you know what I mean, to get this woman this experience. And all for what? Keep up with the Joneses? Does it really make the relationship stronger? Is it really for you guys? You know what I mean? Like, you have to really think about this shit in those kinds of terms, man. Like, dating is a showcase. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely more or less a social media front. So if you are dating and finding yourself dating hard and heavy, not casually, but actually dating with a purpose, as you should, you know what I mean? You will find yourself in that loop. You know what I mean? You'll find yourself, dealing with I don't know, man. Excuse me. But all right, I can tell I'm running long because I'm pausing and shit. But anyway, appreciate everybody for what I mean, possibly listening to this. If you do, if you like it. Feel free to share. Definitely comment. Want to keep the conversation going. And yeah. Ciao, boy. Have a good one. Until next time.